What if I told you that the single most powerful force capable of transforming every area of your life, health, wealth, relationships, and confidence, is already inside your mind, waiting to be unlocked? Imagine having a hidden guide that silently shapes your thoughts, your habits, and even the outcomes of your life, without you even noticing it. Joseph Murphy, through decades of research and practical experience, revealed that this extraordinary force is your subconscious mind, and understanding how it works can literally change the course of your life. Your subconscious is like a fertile garden, accepting every thought you plant, nurturing it, and eventually producing its fruit in your reality. Murphy tells us that the subconscious mind does not argue, it does not question. It simply manifests whatever is impressed upon it, whether positive or negative. Consider the story of a businessman who constantly feared bankruptcy. His mind was filled with thoughts of failure, and, almost inevitably, his business suffered. On the other hand, a woman who visualized herself healthy, energetic, and vibrant gradually experienced remarkable improvements in her physical well-being. This illustrates the first fundamental truth Murphy emphasizes. Your subconscious mind shapes your life according to your beliefs, thoughts, and repeated mental images. One of the most fascinating aspects is that your subconscious cannot distinguish between reality and imagination. When you vividly imagine success, health, or abundance, your subconscious treats it as a real fact and begins working toward its realization. Murphy introduces simple yet powerful methods to communicate with your subconscious through repetition, visualization, affirmation, and belief. Daily practices, such as mentally rehearsing success or quietly affirming positive statements, train your subconscious to align with your conscious desires. The consequences of neglecting this inner power are equally dramatic. Murphy tells stories of countless people whose lives are limited by deeply ingrained negative beliefs that their subconscious has accepted as truths. For instance, someone who constantly thinks, "I cannot be wealthy," unconsciously repels opportunities and financial growth. Conversely, those who instill the belief of deserving success and abundance attract circumstances that bring their vision to life. A powerful illustration is that of a student who repeatedly imagined achieving high marks in an important exam. His visualization created such a strong impression on his subconscious that he performed exceptionally well, almost effortlessly, because his mind had prepared him to succeed. Murphy's key insight is that every challenge, every struggle, and every limitation in your life originates in your subconscious. It holds the blueprint of your experiences, waiting for the conscious mind to correct errors, plant positive seeds, and release outdated beliefs. Health is another area where the subconscious mind wields immense influence. Murphy recounts instances of individuals who suffered from chronic ailments, only to find significant improvement when they consciously imagined their bodies as healthy and vibrant. The subconscious, responding to repeated positive images and affirmations, began orchestrating real physiological changes. Beyond health, your subconscious affects your relationships, career, and emotional resilience. Repetitive thought patterns and emotional conditioning create habits that become almost automatic. For example, a person who reacts irritably to stress has trained their subconscious to respond in that way. By consciously replacing that reaction with calm and constructive responses, the subconscious eventually adopts the new pattern. Murphy stresses that mastering your subconscious is not a quick fix. It requires patience, consistency, and intentional practice, but the results can be transformational. Another striking example involves a woman who had struggled with poverty for years. Every day, she imagined herself as abundant, capable, and resourceful. Gradually, opportunities appeared, her financial situation improved, and she began living the life she had envisioned. Visualization, affirmation, and belief were her tools for reshaping her reality. Murphy explains that your subconscious is always listening, always working, and always seeking to serve your dominant thoughts. When you feed it worry, fear, or doubt, you get results aligned with those negative energies. When you feed it hope, clarity, and belief in your goals, it moves tirelessly toward manifesting them. He emphasizes the use of mental imagery as a vehicle for communication with your subconscious. By creating clear, detailed mental pictures of your desired outcome, you engage the subconscious as if it were a real event. Your imagination becomes the laboratory where reality is first created. The subconscious, responding to repetition and emotional intensity, begins arranging circumstances, opportunities, and inner capacities to bring that vision into existence. One memorable story Murphy shares is of a man plagued by repeated accidents. He realized that his fear of injury had impressed his subconscious with a pattern of self-harm. By mentally rehearsing safety, confidence, and awareness in everyday situations, he retrained his subconscious, which then guided him to avoid dangerous situations almost automatically. Murphy also addresses the principle that nothing is impossible for the subconscious when guided by faith and belief. He insists that doubt and indecision are the only real barriers, because they confuse the subconscious and dilute its creative energy. Positive expectation, combined with a clear mental image, activates the natural law of your mind. He also explores the role of forgiveness, gratitude, and releasing mental burdens. When you forgive past injuries and release resentment, your subconscious is freed from holding on to patterns that perpetuate suffering, opening the door for positive manifestations. Murphy recounts numerous anecdotes of people healing emotionally, financially, and physically once they embraced forgiveness and redirected their mental energy toward constructive, positive thoughts. In relationships, he explains, the subconscious acts like a magnet. The thoughts you consistently harbor about others, whether affectionate or antagonistic, are broadcast into your environment, shaping interactions and attracting compatible energies. For instance, someone who constantly anticipates conflict may find themselves in tense relationships, while someone who cultivates understanding and empathy fosters harmony. Furthermore, Murphy provides practical methods for embedding positive affirmations deeply into the subconscious. Repetition, emotional engagement, and visualization are the keys. Simply repeating affirmations without feeling or clarity may have limited impact, but combining them with vivid imagery and genuine emotion amplifies their effect dramatically. He illustrates this with a case of a young professional seeking career advancement. By visualizing himself excelling in meetings, receiving recognition, and confidently handling challenges, he began noticing opportunities aligning with his imagined reality. His subconscious, now trained to anticipate success, guided his actions and responses to create favorable outcomes. Murphy also stresses the importance of focusing on solutions rather than problems. When confronted with difficulty, the subconscious responds more readily to constructive mental input. Dwelling on the problem reinforces it, while imagining the desired solution steers your subconscious toward generating practical results. An example he shares involves a patient with persistent insomnia. Instead of obsessing over sleepless nights, the patient visualized herself sleeping peacefully, and her subconscious gradually reorganized her mental and physiological patterns to allow restful sleep. The subconscious mind, according to Murphy, is a creative genius. It can bring ideas, innovations, and insights into reality when you provide clear direction through conscious thought. Inventors, artists, and leaders often tap into this power, whether consciously or intuitively, by immersing themselves in imagination, visualization, and confident expectation. Another illustration involves financial abundance. Murphy describes individuals who, through repeated visualization of wealth and prosperity, attracted clients, investments, and opportunities that matched their mental images. Their subconscious acted as a silent architect, orchestrating circumstances to bring imagined success into reality. The overarching principle is simple yet profound. Your mind responds to what it is fed consistently. Positive thoughts, clear goals, emotional conviction, and repetitive mental imagery become the blueprint for your subconscious to execute. He encourages readers to develop a habit of conscious mental training, a daily routine of visualization, affirmation, and self-directed thought. With time, the subconscious mind not only supports your goals but becomes an active partner in their realization. This training can transform fear into courage, limitation into abundance, and uncertainty into clarity. Murphy emphasizes that no external condition is more powerful than the internal programming of your subconscious. Wealth, health, relationships, and success are reflections of your inner mental state. By mastering your inner world, you shape your external reality. The subconscious cannot be rushed or forced. It responds to persistence, clarity, and emotional intensity. Over time, Repeated impressions solidify into automatic patterns that guide your behavior, decisions, and experiences effortlessly. One of the most inspiring stories involves a woman who overcame chronic illness by daily imagining her body functioning perfectly, vibrant, and healthy. Gradually, her subconscious coordinated her mental and physical systems to restore balance, illustrating the mind-body connection in action. In essence, Murphy teaches that by harnessing the subconscious, we tap into the greatest untapped resource available to us. Every challenge we face is an opportunity to reprogram our mind. Every desire is a chance to instruct our subconscious, and every thought is a seed that will grow into the reality we experience. As you begin to understand the immense potential of your subconscious, it becomes clear that nothing in your life is fixed or predetermined. The subconscious does not judge, it simply manifests what it is programmed to believe. Imagine it as a mirror reflecting the deepest convictions of your mind. If you feed it thoughts of fear, scarcity, or failure, those reflections become your reality. But if you feed it thoughts of confidence, abundance, and health, the mirror reflects a life aligned with your highest aspirations. Murphy emphasizes that the conscious mind is like the gardener planting seeds, while the subconscious mind is the fertile soil where those seeds grow. The conscious mind decides what to plant, but it is the subconscious that nurtures, organizes, and ultimately brings the vision to fruition. One powerful example he shares is of a young artist who constantly doubted his talent. His conscious mind imagined success, but his subconscious had been conditioned to fear failure. For years, he struggled to sell his artwork. Once he began deliberately impressing his subconscious with affirmations of talent, creativity, and deserved success, opportunities flowed in. Galleries reached out, commissions increased, and his career transformed. This illustrates a central truth. The subconscious mind responds more powerfully to repeated, emotionally charged images than to casual thoughts. Your imagination is the language it understands. Murphy also explains that habitual mental patterns, what he calls mental grooves, shape the way we respond to the world. If your subconscious is repeatedly exposed to worry, anger, or self-doubt, it automatically recreates those conditions in life. Breaking these grooves requires conscious awareness, repetition, and positive reinforcement. He shares the story of a man who struggled with public speaking. Every time he imagined himself on stage, he visualized failure and humiliation. By deliberately imagining confident delivery, enthusiastic applause, and positive audience reactions, his subconscious was retrained, and he soon spoke publicly without fear. Another key principle Murphy highlights is the law of substitution. The subconscious cannot accept a negative command framed in denial. For example, telling yourself, "I am not sick," is less effective than affirming, "I am healthy and full of energy." The mind responds to the image of the desired outcome, not the negation of the problem. This law applies to all areas of life: wealth, relationships, self-esteem, and health. Murphy further explores the concept of mental rehearsal. Champions, inventors, and leaders often achieve breakthroughs by vividly imagining the completion of their goals. A famous case involves an inventor who visualized the functioning of his machine in intricate detail before ever building it. When he finally constructed it, every piece fit perfectly, because his subconscious had already solved the problems during the mental rehearsal. He stresses that persistent repetition, emotional intensity, and clear visualization create an unbreakable blueprint for the subconscious to follow. Wealth and abundance are particularly responsive to subconscious programming. Murphy cites the story of a small business owner who felt he could never attract clients. Each day, he imagined his business flourishing, clients appreciating his services, and money flowing freely. Within months, his business expanded, and he began receiving unexpected opportunities. This demonstrates the subconscious principle of attraction. It brings circumstances and people that align with your dominant mental patterns. Murphy also introduces the importance of faith in the process. Faith is not blind belief. It is a confident expectation that your subconscious will manifest the thoughts you impress upon it. Doubt and uncertainty weaken the subconscious, while unwavering faith strengthens it, making manifestation more certain. He shares the story of a woman seeking healing from a chronic condition. She combined visualization, affirmation, and faith, imagining her body functioning perfectly. Her persistent belief, paired with daily mental practice, led to measurable improvements in health. In terms of relationships, Murphy illustrates how subconscious beliefs about yourself and others shape interactions. If you harbor resentment, suspicion, or fear, your subconscious communicates that energy, subtly influencing behavior and outcomes. Conversely, cultivating trust, empathy, and respect creates harmonious interactions and attracts supportive, loving people into your life. Murphy also discusses the critical role of gratitude. When you consciously express gratitude for what you already have, you reinforce positive mental patterns in the subconscious. Gratitude amplifies faith, strengthens visualization, and creates a fertile mental environment for new blessings to appear. He recounts a case of a man facing financial difficulties who practiced daily gratitude, listing every positive aspect of his life. This mental shift allowed his subconscious to guide him toward opportunities that had previously gone unnoticed, eventually leading to financial improvement. Another fascinating concept Murphy explores is that of mental autosuggestion. By consciously repeating positive statements and images, you impress them onto the subconscious mind. The more emotionally charged and vivid the repetition, the stronger the effect. For instance, a student who wanted to excel in studies would repeat affirmations of intelligence, focus, and understanding while imagining himself succeeding academically. The subconscious then directs attention, energy, and creativity toward achieving that vision. Murphy warns, however, that inconsistency diminishes results. Sporadic or half-hearted mental efforts create confusion in the subconscious, weakening its capacity to manifest change. The process requires patience, persistence, and unwavering belief. He emphasizes that subconscious training is most effective when practiced regularly, preferably daily, in a relaxed state, often before sleep or upon waking, when the mind is most receptive. Murphy also explores the impact of environment on the subconscious. Exposure to negative influences, such as toxic relationships, pessimistic media, or stressful surroundings, can reinforce limiting beliefs. Conversely, surrounding yourself with positivity, inspiration, and supportive people enhances the subconscious's ability to generate desired outcomes. He shares the story of a woman who relocated to a supportive community, practiced visualization and affirmation, and found that both personal and professional opportunities expanded rapidly. Beyond material and social outcomes, Murphy highlights the role of the subconscious in mental health. Anxiety, depression, and fear often originate from negative subconscious programming. By replacing fear-based images with those of calm, confidence, and hope, individuals can retrain their minds to respond positively to challenges. An example he gives is of a man struggling with insomnia. Each night, he visualized peaceful sleep and repeating the affirmation, "I sleep deeply and wake refreshed." Over time, his subconscious responded, and restful sleep became his new pattern. Murphy also emphasizes the creative power of imagination. Dreams, intuitive insights, and flashes of inspiration often originate from the subconscious. By cultivating the habit of focused, purposeful imagination, you can access innovative solutions, anticipate challenges, and generate ideas that seem to come from nowhere. One memorable story involves a composer who, while imagining the melody in detail, heard the music in his mind before ever playing it. The subconscious had composed the piece internally, allowing him to perform it flawlessly once written down. Murphy warns against mental clutter. Worry, self-criticism, and constant negative thoughts occupy the subconscious, diverting energy away from constructive outcomes. Regularly clearing your mind, redirecting focus toward desired results, and replacing destructive thoughts with constructive mental images are essential practices. He explains that this mental discipline is the key to using the subconscious mind as a powerful tool rather than an unconscious barrier. Murphy's teachings also emphasize that age, education, or social status are irrelevant. The subconscious mind works for everyone equally. A child, an uneducated laborer, or a seasoned executive can access its power if they understand the principles of visualization, repetition, belief, and emotional engagement. Another powerful story he shares is of a man recovering from financial ruin. Daily, he imagined himself managing wealth wisely, serving others, and attracting opportunities. His consistent mental practice gradually manifested in tangible improvements, illustrating that the subconscious acts on persistent, focused instruction regardless of previous circumstances. Furthermore, Murphy introduces the principle of mental gratitude as a multiplier. When you feel and express gratitude for future outcomes as if they have already occurred, your subconscious responds by generating the circumstances that match that gratitude. This technique aligns emotional energy with mental imagery, greatly accelerating manifestation. He also explains the subtle ways the subconscious communicates guidance, through intuition, ideas, coincidences, and a sense of inner knowing. By paying attention to these signals and acting upon them, you reinforce the subconscious pattern of success. Murphy reinforces that self-doubt, criticism, and fear are the greatest obstacles to subconscious success. Every negative thought weakens faith, distorts visualization, and creates a pattern of limitation. Replacing those thoughts with clarity, positivity, and confident expectation retrains the subconscious to produce empowering results. As you delve deeper into the workings of your subconscious, it becomes clear that this mental force is not only responsive to your desires, but is also constantly shaping your reality, in ways you may not consciously notice. Murphy emphasizes that every thought, belief, and emotional reaction impresses your subconscious, and repeated impressions become automatic patterns that govern your life. Consider the story of a woman who constantly feared public rejection. Even when she consciously wanted to speak confidently, her subconscious created situations that mirrored her fear. She would stumble in conversations, misread social cues, or face subtle criticism. Once she began daily visualizations of confident interaction, imagining herself speaking with clarity, charm, and composure, her subconscious gradually reorganized her responses, and social situations became easier, even enjoyable. Murphy explains that the subconscious does not distinguish between voluntary effort and effortless guidance. When properly impressed, it orchestrates events, prepares solutions, and mobilizes inner resources without conscious struggle. This principle is the foundation for mental rehearsal techniques widely used by athletes, performers, and successful professionals. Another key insight he shares is that your subconscious can replace undesirable habits with constructive ones if consistently guided. A man struggling with overeating, for instance, could retrain his subconscious by repeatedly visualizing himself making healthy choices, enjoying nutritious meals, and feeling energetic and light. Over time, his cravings and patterns shifted naturally because the subconscious began aligning his behavior with the new mental blueprint. Murphy also underscores the power of imagination in problem-solving. He recounts the story of an inventor who faced technical difficulties with his machine. Instead of struggling physically, he repeatedly imagined the machine functioning perfectly, exploring solutions in his mind. The subconscious, responding to this vivid mental image, gradually revealed practical adjustments, which he implemented successfully. In the realm of health, Murphy illustrates numerous cases where subconscious reprogramming led to profound recovery. One woman suffering from chronic fatigue visualized her body energized and revitalized, focusing on internal harmony and strength. Her subconscious responded by activating physiological changes, improving sleep, increasing vitality, and reducing pain. These stories demonstrate the intricate connection between mind and body, and how subconscious conditioning can override previously entrenched negative patterns. Murphy emphasizes that to effectively influence the subconscious, one must cultivate emotional intensity alongside visualization. Mere intellectual understanding or passive thought is insufficient. Strong feelings of belief, gratitude, and expectation act as accelerators, amplifying the impact of mental impressions. He provides an example of a young professional seeking career advancement. Each day, she imagined herself performing at her best, receiving recognition, and contributing meaningfully. Her emotional engagement, pride, excitement, and confidence energized the visualization, making her subconscious an active partner in manifesting promotions, opportunities, and positive recognition. Another significant point Murphy makes is that subconscious conditioning begins in early childhood, but it can be reshaped at any age. Childhood fears, limiting beliefs, and conditioned responses often persist, creating invisible barriers. By consciously impressing positive thoughts and images, adults can overwrite outdated programming and replace it with empowering patterns. For instance, a man who had always feared public speaking due to childhood ridicule retrained his subconscious over months by imagining applause, confident delivery, and audience engagement, eventually speaking with poise and ease. Murphy also highlights the importance of patience. Subconscious change is gradual, like water slowly carving a canyon. Immediate results are rare, but persistent, consistent, emotionally charged practice ensures long-term transformation. He recounts a story of a woman who wanted financial independence. Through daily visualization, affirmation, and gratitude, her subconscious gradually aligned circumstances, unexpected clients, income opportunities, and strategic insights, leading her to financial stability over time. In addition, Murphy introduces the concept of subconscious guidance through dreams and intuition. Often, solutions to problems appear in subtle mental flashes, sudden clarity, or even dreams. These are the subconscious communicating in its native language. Paying attention, recording insights, and acting decisively on these intuitive prompts amplifies the power of subconscious support. Murphy stresses that faith is essential, not blind faith, but confident expectation that your subconscious is aligned with your best interests. Doubt weakens the process, creating conflicting mental patterns that confuse the subconscious. Conversely, unwavering faith ensures that the energy of thought, imagination, and emotion is concentrated, accelerating manifestation. Another critical aspect he discusses is the law of substitution for eliminating negative habits. Instead of focusing on what you want to stop, you must replace it with a positive alternative. For example, telling yourself "I will stop worrying" is less effective than "I am calm, confident, and focused." The subconscious responds to the positive image, and the negative pattern gradually fades. Murphy also explores how subconscious patterns affect relationships. A person who constantly expects conflict or criticism often attracts precisely that energy. By cultivating thoughts of understanding, empathy, and positivity, the subconscious reorganizes interactions, fostering harmonious, supportive connections. He tells the story of a couple experiencing repeated misunderstandings. By individually imagining patience, love, and mutual respect, both partners shifted their subconscious expectations, transforming tense interactions into cooperative, joyful communication. Wealth creation is another area where the subconscious plays a decisive role. Murphy recounts stories of individuals who initially struggled financially but visualized abundance daily, imagined opportunities, and affirmed their capacity to manage wealth responsibly. Over time, their subconscious aligned their actions, decisions, and perceptions with success, attracting clients, investments, and avenues they had previously overlooked. He emphasizes that visualization, repetition, and emotional intensity are the tools that allow conscious desires to become subconscious commands. Furthermore, Murphy explains that mental discipline is key. Sporadic or half-hearted attempts to influence the subconscious produce limited or inconsistent results. Daily practice, often in relaxed states such as just before sleep or upon waking, enhances receptivity and effectiveness. Murphy also introduces gratitude as a strategic tool. Feeling and expressing gratitude for desired outcomes as if they already exist strengthens subconscious alignment. A businessman struggling with clients began each day listing the positive aspects of his life and business. Over time, his subconscious guided him to opportunities and decisions that expanded his client base, illustrating the transformative power of gratitude. Another powerful illustration is in overcoming fear. Murphy tells of a man terrified of failing in business. By daily imagining success, financial security, and confident decision-making, the subconscious gradually replaced fear with courage, alertness, and strategic insight, leading to tangible achievements. He also emphasizes that subconscious programming is independent of current circumstances. Age, past experiences, education, and social status do not limit its power. Anyone can harness it to reshape life. This universality makes the principles accessible to everyone, from children to seniors, from beginners to experts. Murphy gives examples of people from various backgrounds achieving breakthroughs by consistent subconscious training: artists, entrepreneurs, students, and homemakers alike. Furthermore, He explains that subconscious training affects not only material outcomes, but also emotional resilience. Anxiety, depression, and self-doubt often originate from subconscious patterns. By impressing positive, solution-oriented mental images, individuals can cultivate inner strength, confidence, and peace. He tells the story of a woman struggling with chronic worry. Through repeated visualization of calm, balanced scenarios, combined with affirmations of strength and capability, her subconscious reshaped her mental responses, reducing anxiety and fostering mental clarity. Murphy also details the subtle role of the subconscious in creativity and problem-solving. Insights, ideas, and innovations often emerge when the conscious mind stops overthinking, allowing the subconscious to process information freely. He cites examples of inventors, artists, and writers who received breakthrough ideas seemingly out of nowhere, the product of subconscious processing over time. Another critical lesson is that subconscious influence extends to physical health. Chronic conditions, tension, and fatigue can be alleviated by consciously replacing negative mental images with positive, healing-focused ones. He recounts several cases where individuals overcame persistent ailments through daily visualization, affirmation, and belief, illustrating the profound mind-body connection. In essence, Murphy presents the subconscious as a silent partner, capable of orchestrating wealth, health, relationships, success, and personal growth. The conscious mind plants the seeds, imagination gives them form, emotions energize them, and the subconscious carries them to fruition. As you continue to harness the power of your subconscious, you begin to realize that it is not only a tool for personal achievement, but a transformative force capable of reshaping every facet of your life. Murphy emphasizes that your subconscious mind is always at work, silently interpreting your thoughts and translating them into reality. The key is to become the conscious architect of your mental patterns. One of the most striking lessons he shares is the principle of mental substitution, replacing negative images with positive, solution-oriented ones. A woman struggling with anxiety began each day by vividly imagining calm, peaceful scenarios, coupled with affirmations such as, "I am calm, confident, and in control." Gradually, her subconscious replaced panic responses with inner peace, demonstrating the remarkable capacity for self-directed transformation. Murphy also highlights the significance of repetition. The subconscious does not respond to occasional thoughts, but to persistent, repeated impressions. For instance, a man wanting to succeed in business visualized his goals daily, imagined himself closing deals successfully, and felt gratitude for the opportunities as if they had already manifested. Over time, these repeated, emotionally charged images became commands to his subconscious, guiding his decisions, actions, and even intuition toward success. Another powerful principle is the cultivation of faith. Faith, in Murphy's framework, is not blind belief. It is confident expectation combined with mental imagery and emotion. Doubt weakens the subconscious, but unwavering faith reinforces the blueprint you are creating. He shares a compelling story of a woman recovering from chronic illness who, through visualization, affirmation, and absolute faith in her recovery, experienced dramatic improvements in health, illustrating the mind-body connection in its most potent form. Murphy also stresses the importance of forgiveness and letting go. Holding on to resentment or anger imprints negative patterns in your subconscious, subtly sabotaging health, relationships, and success. By consciously forgiving past grievances and visualizing positive outcomes, you release energy for growth, allowing your subconscious to operate without obstruction. In relationships, Murphy explains, your subconscious communicates subtle cues through behavior, expectation, and attitude. A person harboring suspicion or fear unconsciously projects tension, while one cultivating empathy and positivity attracts harmony and understanding. He recounts stories of couples transforming conflicts into cooperation through repeated visualization of patience, love, and mutual respect, demonstrating that subconscious alignment can harmonize human interactions. Wealth creation is another domain where subconscious programming has profound effects. Murphy tells of individuals who, despite financial hardship, committed to daily visualization and affirmation of abundance. Their subconscious, now trained to expect and attract opportunities, guided them toward clients, partnerships, and ventures that aligned with their mental images, illustrating the universal law of attraction at work. Murphy emphasizes that mental discipline is crucial. Sporadic or half-hearted efforts produce inconsistent results. Daily practice, especially in relaxed states such as before sleep or upon waking, maximizes receptivity and strengthens subconscious programming. Emotional intensity amplifies the effect, making visualization and affirmation more powerful. Gratitude is a multiplier. Feeling and expressing gratitude for desired outcomes as if they already exist strengthens the subconscious alignment, creating a fertile mental environment for opportunities, solutions, and positive experiences to manifest. He shares stories of people who, through gratitude-focused mental practices, overcame financial difficulties, relationship challenges, and health obstacles. Murphy further explores the subconscious as a source of intuition and creativity. Dreams, sudden insights, and flashes of inspiration are often the subconscious mind communicating solutions to conscious challenges. By paying attention, recording, and acting on these insights, you reinforce the subconscious's role as a problem-solving ally. Health, too, responds to subconscious guidance. Chronic ailments, fatigue, and tension can be alleviated by replacing negative mental images with positive, healing-focused visualizations. Murphy tells of numerous cases where individuals restored vitality, energy, and wellness through consistent subconscious training, demonstrating the intricate mind-body connection. He also reminds us that age, education, or social status do not limit the subconscious. Anyone can access its power through understanding, practice, and persistence. Children, seniors, professionals, and homemakers alike can achieve transformation by impressing positive, goal-oriented images upon their subconscious. One of the most profound lessons is that your subconscious can transform obstacles into opportunities. Problems, challenges, and setbacks are interpreted by the subconscious as instructions only if we feed it fear or defeat. By consciously reinterpreting these situations with solutions, hope, and clarity, we redirect subconscious activity toward constructive outcomes. Murphy illustrates this with a story of a man facing repeated financial setbacks. Each day, he imagined creative solutions, financial security, and successful outcomes. Slowly, his subconscious guided him to new opportunities, partnerships, and ideas, turning apparent setbacks into stepping stones for success. In essence, Murphy's teaching is a roadmap. The conscious mind plants seeds through thought, visualization, and affirmation. Emotion and belief energize them, and the subconscious executes, bringing desires into physical reality. Success, health, relationships, and inner peace are reflections of this inner alignment. The practical steps are simple yet profound. Cultivate clear goals, create vivid mental images of success, repeat affirmations daily, engage emotions fully, practice gratitude, release resentment, and maintain unwavering faith. Murphy concludes that by consistently applying these principles, you not only change circumstances, but also transform your character, habits, and perspective, achieving lasting, holistic growth. As you integrate these teachings into your life, you become the master of your inner world, and through that mastery, the architect of your outer world. Your subconscious is always listening, always shaping, and always capable of manifesting the reality you impress upon it. The ultimate call to action is to begin immediately. Start today. Create a quiet moment, visualize your ideal life, affirm your goals, feel gratitude as if they are already yours, and trust your subconscious to orchestrate the path forward. Remember, every great achievement begins with a single seed planted in the fertile soil of your mind. Nurture it daily, engage your emotions, and allow your subconscious to do the remarkable work of turning thought into reality. There is no better time than now to take control of your mind, harness the power within, and step confidently into the life you truly desire. Your subconscious is your most loyal ally, waiting to translate your dreams into tangible, extraordinary results. Begin your practice today, and watch as opportunities, solutions, health, and abundance unfold naturally, effortlessly, and powerfully. The journey to your highest potential starts with a single conscious step. Plant the seed of your desired life in your mind, water it with belief and gratitude, and allow the infinite power of your subconscious to bring it to bloom.